we don't care about the West, we don't care about Conservatives, threaten to leave Canada.
Yep.
That's non-negotiable. It looks like you have the Liberals with a minority government at 169 seats shaping out today. That's very close to a majority. They were redrawing riding lines, electoral districts, I believe in 2022, 2023, and that increased the amount of ridings to 343, if I'm doing my math correctly. So 172 gets you a majority there, just shy. NDP loses their official party status. They are sitting at, I can't remember, 7 or 8 seats. I think it's 7.
I got it all here.
So now what happens to them?
They got 7 seats.
They become independents.
So they lost 18 seats.
Yeah, that's the real. Okay, little sidebar. I've got a little bit of a bone to pick with American media, specifically some of the podcasters.
Because they're going after Pierre.
Patrick Bet-David, who had another fellow Canadian on Viva Frey. And for some reason, they always think everything is so simplistic. It's either yes or no, right or wrong. And they're calling this election essentially the fact that Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives didn't work hard enough. That's kind of their summary.
Really? I didn't watch their podcast. I saw their stuff.
I actually sent them a message saying, dude, like, have me on. I'll bring you context because I'm not making excuses for Conservatives. This is a very nuanced conversation. It's not, it's a typical American bravado. It's just do this better and get it done. It's like, no, there's a lot of stuff that happened. The
Conservative Party it was the biggest gain in seats since 1988. 36 years.
Yeah,
they gained 25 seats right here. 25. The Liberal Party only gained 9 seats. Like the difference there is huge.
But the interesting thing, so let's get back to that in a second. The interesting thing is what's going to happen with the NDP. Loss of official party status. Jagmeet is out. He is gone. How many? It only takes 3 independent former NDPers to cross the aisle. Meaning, we're going to join the Liberals. Are their deals going to be cut? Are they going to get the 3 and gives them a majority? Or are they going to do some sort of coalition? Or that's going to be... Because if that happens, then it's going to be interesting to see, is Mark Carney going to want to try to work with Conservatives, try to heal Canada, try to lessen the divide, reach out to Western Canada, Alberta, and work together, or not?
Either way, though, there's no scenario where even if Conservatives and Bloc stick together, I guess they would need Conservatives, Bloc, and NDP.
Everybody. 100%.
Which is a difficult situation for Conservatives.
The cards are in Carney's hands, and if he can get a couple of those, or 3 of those specifically, then basically he can just say, you know what? We don't care about the West. We don't care about Conservatives. We're going to do what we want to do. There's a very good chance that could happen. So anyways, that's interesting. The Bloc underperformed as well in Quebec compared to past years.
Did Maxime get any seats?
No seats. They got 140,000 and change in votes. Which probably flipped 1 or 2. I think they're strong in, I'm not going to say because I forget the writing. It starts with a B. I was going to say Burnaby, but it's not Burnaby. It's in Ontario. They've got a strong presence in one, which definitely flipped a seat, but not enough to make a change on the election. But again, the question comes with those guys and all the money that they've been raising and where are they going to be and going, and it's interesting to see them. So anyways, there's kind of a recap of the night. And
it's made it's made quite the wake in Alberta, and that's something we are going to be seeing a lot and are seeing a lot. There's even a petition right now that apparently has officially gained enough signatures as of like hours ago for it to officially trigger a referendum. Yeah, and to bring clarity to that, the official process for a referendum, Premier Danielle Smith today, it was Bill C-50 something, changed the threshold in which the amount of, I think it used to be 600,000, which is a significant portion of the province. Number. I think they dropped it to 170, 180,000. And it's not because you have to have an official government sheet, I guess, where you got the names, information, and address of the people who officially sign it to kick the referendum into motion. Right now, it is independent groups. We've seen people like Jeffrey Rath, and there's I didn't even know there's a party called the Republican Party, but I don't think they're an official party. I didn't know either. No one cares yet about that, but obviously they're declaring themselves American on that front. My point in saying that there's independent groups that are essentially grabbing information and yes, getting signups of people who want to be or have a referendum and want independence, and they are claiming they've crossed that threshold, which, just so everybody's aware, is significant.
That is a significant amount of the population, and that's not something you just brush to this side. So essentially, they're being ready to migrate that information for when this official document or this official process goes through with the Alberta government. And Danielle Smith is seemingly sympathetic to the fact of at least allowing the citizens of Alberta to speak and to be in control of their own future. Plus, I think it's a message to the Liberals and to Carney of stating Alberta is going to be in control of our future. If Ottawa does not help Alberta, we're going to be drivers of our own future, which, you know what, good on her, good on the people for moving that direction. I don't have a problem with people exercising that right and moving that direction. Again, personally don't know where I stand, but maybe another episode we'll get into that. But I'm willing to accept the direction that it goes. I still want a full Canada. I want to work towards that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not ready to call it quits on that yet, like a lot of people are. But that's my 2 quick cents.
And that's in a functioning country that balances and works together. That'd be my thoughts. Is that there's just as any country is. There's clearly two ideas, but we have to figure out a way to work together.
And that's a tough balance.
Yeah.
Like, and I think, and we'll go to this in a little bit, but yesterday I was chatting with Dr. Phil out of the States and wanted his perspective on a couple things about Donald Trump, the American perspective. But we'll get to these words in the club. He had some really wise words about how to, because living in a country like the US, obviously political divide as well.
Yep.
And in Canada, I want to be someone that helps narrow that divide. You and I both are that. We want to help Canada heal. We believe Canada can be stronger when unified. I have my doubts whether it can or can't, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to put in the effort to continue to do that and to do what we can, especially to help the media landscape move towards. That's a major part of our country coming together is the media as well, representing voices properly across Canada. Arguably,
and one of the most important.
Yeah,
I would think so. Because it's the voice to the people. It's where they get the data, information, and interpretation. Yep. So it's a slippery slope. One of the things that I just wanted to point out, Danielle Smith's, she posted this on social media right after Mark Carney's victory, and it's a long read, so I won't read the whole thing, but I'll read the last little bit. It says, as Premier, I will not permit the status quo to continue. Albertans are proud Canadians that want the nation to be strong, prosperous, and united. So like she's stating the same thing there. But we will no longer tolerate having our industries threatened and our resources landlocked by Ottawa. If in the weeks and months ahead, Albertans will have the opportunity to discuss our province's future, assess various options for strengthening and protecting our province against future hostile acts of Ottawa, like very strong words, and to ultimately choose a path forward. As Premier, I will facilitate and lead the discussion and process with the sincere hope of securing a prosperous future for our province within a united Canada that respects our province's constitutional rights, facilitates rather than blocks the development and exports of our abundant resources, and treats us as a valued and respected partner within Confederation. Our government will be holding a special caucus meeting, and she says they'll know more after that.
Great. Wow. See, I think that's fantastic because this is the idea of confederation is that you have the balance of power between federal and provincial, and that balance is out of whack, especially from Alberta's perspective, Saskatchewan's perspective, and you have to get that. But here's a word of warning just for people. Let's say if you are in Alberta and you are part of that group where you are an Alberta separatist and you are or an Alberta independent, or even if you're going so far to say I want to be part of the US. If we're going to go down this path of, like Danielle Smith is about bringing Ottawa and showing them this is the line you must cross in order for us to be able to work together effectively for the best of Albertans and the best of this province, we have to be willing. It has to be more than just a bluff to get our independence. And I know there's a lot of hardcore people who say, we're not bluffing, but there's a lot of people who would be on the edge who like the idea of it, but are we willing to actually go through with it and separate from Canada? Because I think in order, judging by Liberals and what they ran on and Mark Carney, this is just by track record so far, I don't see them reaching out to try to make Alberta's interest further ahead. So we have to be willing to actually go all the way if we're going to bring certain things up and, for lack of a better word, threaten to leave Canada. You have to be willing to see it through. That's non-negotiable. For them to take you seriously,
100%.
You have to be able to. So anyways,
it has to be full. You can't be half-baked on that.